Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time. We're doing the news, so you don't have to. What have we got? This is a story. I don't know if we should really cover it because it's a bit of a violent story. It's a serious story. This is Thomas Knivet College in Ashford, and there was a fight, a racially motivated fight. And a number of people were arrested. Again, it was pretty shocking stuff. And there's been a massive social media backlash, and rightly so, because the teachers didn't step in. They said the teachers didn't step in to stop this. And now rapper Dave, not Dave, Little Dicky, it's confusing, has stepped in and demanded that the headmaster and the teachers involved be brought to book, and he's kind of right in this case. There were 5 people arrested: 39-year-old woman, 16-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, and a 43-year-old man were arrested regarding the attack. A 6th suspect, a 15-year-old girl, is still on the run, wanted. And there were demonstrations outside the school about this terrible attack. Again, you know, when I were a lad, if ever there was a fight in the playground, it didn't last very long before a teacher would swoop in and deliver a clip round the ear and separate people. But now, I think because teachers are a bit worried about getting harmed themselves, they're a bit reluctant to get involved. But in this case, I mean, it was a pretty brutal fight. And yeah, I think the head teacher and those who are on duty, because there were teachers at the gate apparently, need to be brought to book, because at the end of the day, they are responsible for the safety of our children. You know, when you sign them over, you know, it's the school and the teacher that are, teachers that are responsible for their safety. So yeah, I think rapper Dave, I've never heard of him either. He's absolutely right to demand heads should roll. The heads should roll. Meanwhile, Sadiq Khan, he's outlawed wood burners. We talked about this before. Do you remember we was talking about wood burners and the pollutants that they give out? Well, you better not have one in London, because Mayor Khan himself will come round. Here he is, looking like a Thunderbird's puppet. He'll come round and personally piss on your fire and put it out. I think that's what he'll do. But yeah, even the government is looking to crack down on the misuse of the stoves, and council chiefs have been asked to impose on the spot civil penalties, which could be as much as £300. And what they reckon is that because there's some sort of crisis going on, isn't there an energy crisis? Even though the cost of gas, wholesale cost of gas has plummeted, don't see him passing on that saving to us. Many people are using wood burners now to heat their homes, and some people are actually using illegal wood as well. They've been getting woods off of building sites, and they've been warned against it because the woods are often treated with chemicals to stop them from rotting and whatnot. And when you burn them, releases all sorts of bad chemicals. Meanwhile, we've got Charlie, right? We've got a Charlie story. But it's an interesting story because it's not a Charlie story. It starts off, and when I mean Charlie, I mean King Charlie. You know, King Charlie, got to get used to saying it. It actually starts off as a Daily Mail fashion story, where one of the Mail video editors, Alicia Watts, went on the streets of West London to try a Nothing But Styles £19 sheer cut dress. This new dress, they reckon, is a lot cheaper than the £130 God Saves Queen's frock, which has been going viral on Instagram. Don't worry, I don't know what this dress is anyway, but let me see. Here she is trying out the dress. There you go, because it's got this kind of cut out pattern, right? But while she's standing there, who goes past? We've got to zoom in here, but it's Charlie, and look, he's copping an eyeful. Look at him, he's going, way. Yeah, see, that's what we want. It was Charlie there. This is she was walking the length of High Street Kensington, braving the February cold. I tell you, she should get a pay rise just for doing that. But yeah, it was Charlie all along. And there is some video of her walking around in said dress. I mean, it's again, it's one of those illusionary dresses which makes you look like you're showing a lot more than you actually are. Wait a minute, I don't think Charlie's... There's a close-up. I don't think Charlie's actually looking at her at all. I think he's looking at his iPhone. There you go. So, yeah, there you go. That's the story, in it. Something. Meanwhile, we've got another education story. This is Stephen Charlesworth's. He was a maths teacher, and I say was, at Milnes High School in Faucherbears Moray. That's up in Scotland. And this is an incident that goes back to December 2018, and he's fighting to stay on the teaching register. He's up against the General Teaching Council for Scotland, GTCS. And it's a 3-person panel which will decide his fate. And here he is. So what did he do? What heinous crime did he do? This is a good one. Right. He's accused of shouting at a class of 14 and 15-year-olds and asking them, "Who the hell do you think you are?" and banging on the table, which reduced some pupils to tears. Apparently, they were making TikTok videos during his lesson. Right. He's also facing allegations of acting in a verbally abusive and aggressive manner, refusing to leave the school, which led the police to be called. Yeah, he probably said, "I'm not in the wrong, they are." Mr. Charlesworth is representing himself. And yeah, it was all about them making TikTok videos. Now again, when I were a lad, they used to throw the board rubbers, the chalk, the chalk thing used to get rid of the chalk. They used to throw those things at us, and if you weren't paying attention, or bits of chalk. Nowadays, you can't even bang a table. But yeah, the hearing continues. So we'll have to. I hope he doesn't get kicked out, because it just sounds like he was, just doing his job, really, wasn't he? Meanwhile, bad news for those of you who like going to Amsterdam and the famous red light district. Apparently, the Amsterdam Council, is soon going to ban cannabis from the red light district as part of new regulations by the city. The new laws, which were announced yesterday, will be enforced from mid-May and aim to improve the residents' quality of life. Yeah. They've announced under the new laws, restaurants and bars will have to be closed by 2 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays. The old city district would have to shut to new visitors after 1 a.m. and that sex workers will have to close their venues at 3 a.m. A city spokesman said the atmosphere has become dire, particularly at night. They're cleaning up their act. There you go. So, no fun and games in Amsterdam anymore. That's not good. What else have we got? Oh, we've got COVID news. We haven't had a COVID story for ages. And this is an Australian scientist have made a crazy interesting COVID-19 discovery. Yeah, a protein in the lungs that blocks COVID and forms a natural barrier from the virus has been discovered by scientists at the University of Sydney. The naturally occurring protein, LRRC15, works by attaching itself to the virus like Velcro and preventing COVID particles from binding with more vulnerable cells. And it reduces the chance of infection. The find may finally explain why some people suffer serious illness or even death, while some never seem to get sick or appear symptomless. LRRC15 is not known to be present in humans until the virus enters the body, but it appears after the infection. The protein helps activate the body's response to COVID, and the team behind the incredible find hopes it will offer a promising pathway to develop new drugs to fight the virus. Yeah, well, that's astounding stuff, isn't it? Professor Greg Neely, who led the study, said his team was one of three internationally to independently uncover the specific proteins interacting with COVID-19. Other teams were at Oxford University in the UK and Yale and Brown universities in the US. He says, for me as an immunologist, the fact that there's a natural immune receptor that we didn't know about that's lying in our lungs and blocks and controls the virus, well, that's crazy interesting. Professor Neely said he wants a presenting gig, doesn't he? So yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. But I like this doctor's name, Dr. Lupin Liu. Lupin Liu, a postdoctoral researcher who's part of the study, said that LRRC15 acts like a bit like molecular Velcro, and it sticks to the spikes of the virus and then pulls it away from the target cell types. Astounding. Can't wait to see what they do with that information. What else have we got? UK narrowly avoids recession with GDP flatlining, but we're not out of the woods yet, as experts predict more pain to come. Oh God. Jeremy Hunt, that's not rhyming slang, hailed Britain's resilience today after the economy narrowly avoided going into recession for the second half of last year. Is there a graph? Yes there is. But don't worry folks, everyone's going through this, even like the Europeans. I know that, again, we're talking about tiny amounts of growth and whatnot, and we can't be permanently growing. There's some really good videos, Artie, A-R-T-E, on their channel about poverty in Europe and the food banks. One of them came up in my suggestions. Especially there's one about the Germans and their food banks. Absolutely fascinating. If you think it's just this, poverty and financial collapse is just happening in the UK, it's not. It's happening across Europe. Go and have a look at those videos. And it seems that even the EU can't save people from having to queue at food banks to help them get through this nonsense that's going on. Again, this is what happens when we have continual growth. It just can't happen. Again, Turkey-Syria quake, the figures have risen to over 21,000 dead now. There's still more. Again, I'm not going to show the pictures because it's absolutely heartbreaking. It's awful. Families being wiped out, and the effects of it being felt, worldwide. People's relatives. I mean, there are some, positive stories of babies being dragged out of the rubble, but it's just, it's just terrible. Ah, dear. Oh, here we go. We've got more news about the 40 Towers reboot. They reckon that the reboot of the show, John Cleese himself has hinted that it could be set in the Caribbean instead of Torquay, as TV star reveals the series won't return to woke BBC. So is it going to be on Netflix? HBO? They should do it on HBO. I think he's missing a trick with this, because what he could do is, instead of it being like 40 Towers, he should do it more like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it should be John Cleese himself opens a hotel in the Caribbean for his celebrity friends, and he can have his celebrity friends turn up, and he plays a version of himself, and they pay. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Rather than it being 40 Towers, it could be. Again, you got. Just don't do it, John. Just no. It's going to be rubbish. It'll be amazing if it's any good. It'd be amazing. It's just you can't bring these things back. You just can't. You can't do it. Meanwhile, did you know that there is talking to the BBC, there's a BBC coronation concert, and there were 10,000 free tickets available. The musical event is set to feature icons and contemporary stars at Windsor Castle in May. But royal fans who are hoping to attend are had a bit of bother because there's no submit button on the website. Yeah. That's not a very good picture. Trust me. For some people, the button appears, and some people it doesn't. So it could be the browser. It could be the browser you're using. So yeah, there's been a bit of a. Was it a foobar? But yeah, the televised show will be on May the 7th, the day after King Charles is crowned, our leader, King Charlie. And I imagine, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see who they're going to have on. John Cleese? No. Where's all the good stories? Oh, here we go. We've got a stalky story. This is the story of a young woman who was driven to the brink of suicide after being bombarded with abusive messages from an anonymous troll. Opal Williams Hulse called the police after being contacted by a string of fake accounts entitled "Opal Needs to Die" and "Opal the Whore." The 23-year-old was sent the vile messages over a 3-month period. And this was via Snapchat? Yeah, it's via Snapchat. And of course she was, obviously very upset by this, and it really affected her mental health. But you can't imagine how stoned she was when again she informed the police and they got their experts in. Her face was set to stunned when it was revealed that it was one of her friends that was behind it. Yeah, they traced the messages to 23-year-old Naomi Kendrick, and she'd actually been confiding in her friend that these messages had been appearing. Kendrick from Winsford in Cheshire had been acting as a shoulder to cry on, had been also secretly sending the hateful messages. Well, she got a restraining order. Here she is. Again, put her on the crazy list. And this was over several months. And obviously, it's her walking to court. So yeah, she's got a restraining order. And what else happened to her? What else did she get? And community service. Yeah, she's got to complete 300 hours of unpaid work, 25 days of rehabilitative activity, and pay £215 in costs and victim surcharge. But yeah, a defence lawyer said she's very, very remorseful for what she's done, but has not revealed her motive. Yeah, there's no motive. And she's also got to pay a victim £250 compensation. So that was expensive. I mean, God, people. It's always the people you least expect. It's always someone close to you, that do these things. I'm just glad that they found out who it was, Oh no, they reckon that Putin's major new offensives have started in Ukraine, and this is why, you know, Zelensky's wanted more, you know, weapons and fighter jets and everything. Again, it's not going to be over, not for a long time. And we're coming up to the anniversary of it. Again, there was talk that, you know, with the anniversary coming around, that Putin would probably like to redouble his efforts. Oh dear. Meanwhile, this is the story of Paula Brown. And she was sitting with her 15-year-old son last November at her house in Blackwood in Gwent. And then this happened. Yeah, there was a rogue JCB digger ramming a car into her house. She rushed outside to find her ex-partner's brother, Mark Holmes, going on a rampage. And it cost her £28,000 in repairs. And this was a revenge attack over a family feud. Miss Brown says she was left with heavy bruising to both her feet after Holmes lifted the arm of the vehicle before hitting her legs. She's now revealed that she was disappointed with his sentence after a judge handed him 16 months suspended sentence for 2 years. I mean, really. Miss Brown said, I thought, what the hell's that noise? Is it a delivery truck? And she was, oh my God, it's a JCB coming towards the house. And the digger hit her Ford Focus, which she'd received as a gift from her children. Yeah, she watched as he bashed the digger into the brick wall of the house, causing £28,000 worth of damage. He smashed the bucket down onto my left foot, she said, and almost ripped my boot off. He caught both my feet, but my left foot was worse. And again, it's some more damage. Look, that's real bad structural damage there. My goodness. These people are crazy, isn't it? And yeah, Judge Duncan Bold said Holmes had escaped custody by a whisper, or even a whisker, whisper, not wearing my glasses, you see, while banning him from driving for 3 years. What, just JCBs? But yeah, he denied occasionally an actual body arm, but admitted the lesser charge of battery. You know, he was ordered to wear an alcohol abstinence monitoring tag for 120 days and do 200 hours of unpaid work, and of course the suspended sentence. I mean, that's just crazy. He should have been done for attempted murder. You know, because if he'd have gone into the house, he'd have put the whole house down on them, wouldn't he? It was obvious that was his intention. I don't know. Get away with anything these days, couldn't you? Meanwhile, Elon Musk, who wants to send us all to Mars, has launched. It was a booster test of his most powerful rocket. He's very proud. Here it goes, whoosh! And I reckon this one is the one that's going to take us to Mars. Yeah, it ignited 31 out of 33 of the engines. So there we go. Big rocket. Meanwhile, this is awful. This is at the Anne Frank House Museum. In Amsterdam, and this is a picture. Here we go, picture of the museum, and people were shocked when anti-Semitic and racist messages were beamed onto it with a laser. Yeah. It referenced far-right conspiracy theories that Anne Frank was not the author of her famous diary. The museum, which receives around 1 million visitors a year, said it had reported the incident to the police and was in contact with the City Council and public prosecutors. It happened this week. We were notified and we're investigating, and Amsterdam's police spokesman confirmed, but decided to give fewer details. Yeah, I mean, why would you do that? Why would you do that? What else have we got? Is there really other funnies here? Oh, so I've got an animal story there. That's good. Phew! I've been looking for. Meanwhile, do you like tuna? Or are you going to want to avoid it? An investigation by Consumer Reports tested 30 cans of skipjack and albacore tuna from 5 popular brands. This is in America, I might add, including Bumblebee, Starkist, and my favourite brand, Chicken of the Sea. Yeah, there's a brand of tuna called Chicken of the Sea, because to them, tuna's chicken of the sea. No, you can. There you go. And it was revealed, right? It was revealed that levels of mercury in canned tuna is so unpredictable that pregnant women should avoid tuna completely. So, yeah. So this is it. Chicken of the sea. Chicken of the sea. And it's got a mermaid there. You'd think it'd have some sort of sea chicken. But yeah, mercury everywhere. So don't eat it. Mind you, the same organisation discovered that many popular brands of dark chocolate contain lead. They're just spoiling everything for everyone, aren't they? What a bunch of misery guts. Mercury's good, isn't that the one that, if you have enough, you can tell what the temperature is, isn't it? With mercury, is that? No, it's not good for you. No, it's no good. Good news, everybody. MP Nadine Dorries says she's stepping down. That's good. That's good news. Oh yeah, and Burt Bacharach died, 94. It's not bad going. All those songs. Can you name all the songs he wrote? Too many. You know. Love to. You know, what the world needs now is love, sweet love. Oh yeah. Have a little bit of Burt. But yeah, 94, it's not bad going. But I'm still here, folks. I'm still here. Meanwhile, what would living on Mars do to the human body, they ask? I don't know. Well, they've done a little chart for us. It doesn't look good. It could give you poor eyesight. They've done it twice. Whoever did this is wrong. That's meant to say shrink your brain. Thinning muscles because of the gravity, weaken bones, cell mutations. Oh, it's not going to be good, is it? Yeah, it could give you brain damage as well. But yeah, Elon wants to send humans to Mars aboard his Starship. I don't fancy it myself. You know. Imagine it's a bit like going to Norfolk. Yeah. So won't be going to Mars. What else have we got? Going to Mars is no good. Meanwhile, we'll go to Scotland. Not Scotland. Try Australia. I was reading 2 headlines at the same time there. Don't giggle at the back. The reason I thought it said it was Scotland because it says a Perth man. There's a Perth in Scotland, isn't there? 48-year-old fellow, he's anonymous, has been arrested for bigamy. Yeah, too many wives. Apparently, he was separated but not divorced from his first wife when he married a second woman in July 2020. Look, it's so serious that they've fuzzed it out. I mean, is this a really bad crime? I don't know. I mean, they're armed and everything. In Australia, is bigamy that big a problem? I thought he'd just be worried if it was like if he's married to his cousin, it's a problem, isn't it? You know? Australian Federal Police began investigating after the man's first wife, who's based in the eastern states, contacted the second wife via social media and exposed his alleged duplicity. He just forgot. He just forgot to get divorced. These things can happen when you fall in love. Look at Matt Hancock. Look at what he did when he fell in love. But Senior Constable Kevin Lermans said allegations of deception and bigamy were serious matters. He said this type of deception and offending has long-lasting and negative real-life impacts on the victims and the families involved, and the AFP will ensure allegations like this are investigated fully. The maximum penalty for bigamy in Australia is 5 years in clink, the Federal Police said. Blimey, that's a bit serious, isn't it? My God, it's not like he's killed anyone. Meanwhile, comedian Roseanne Barr has got a comedy special coming out on Fox Nation. I don't know what that is, but she's announced that her pronouns are kiss my arse. I like the cut of her tube. There you go. Meanwhile, the missus is right. There's no room in prison because the Home Office are proposing that criminals be let out of prison earlier if they agree to wear an ankle tag. It's pretty good, that, and get out even quicker. Just put on the tag. I'm sure that with the tag on, they'll behave themselves. What else have we got? Have we got anything else? Meanwhile, do you remember the Astro Boy boots? Well, this fella decided to try them on, and they couldn't get him off him. They got stuck in his Astro boots. he's gonna die in those boots. $350 boots you can't get off. Meanwhile, I have got some funnies. How long have I done? Oh God, I've gone on too long. This is a very sad story. This is on a site called KidSpot. I don't know what that is. What is KidSpot? Is it a forum? I don't know, but it's based in Australia. Yeah. What is KidSpot? Is it a forum? Oh no, it's KidSpot is part of news.com Australia. Just clicked on the link, and it's one of their personal problems, and they can. This is good, and it's under the parenting the parent advice column, and I'm going to read it. It said, "My husband and I are open and honest with each other about 99% of things. Being married for 6 years but together for over 9 means we know each other very intimately. Even from the beginnings of our relationship, we talk about everything and share what we were thinking and feeling. It's just how we did things. But there's one thing we don't share, and that's flatulence. Although his strong opinions on the matter are almost about women not farting or burping, he isn't a fan of flatulence for anyone at all. So much so he's never once burped or farted in front of me." Yeah. And this is the reply. Let's see, look. "I didn't fart in front of my husband for 9 years. You could learn a lot from this, missus. You could learn a lot from this." Is this a problem? I thought that was like was it first month, isn't it? You let one go, unless you can hide it behind a cough. Can you do that? No, okay. Meanwhile, do you remember Prince Hazza? he lost his virginity behind that pub with, was it Sasha? Do you remember? With Sasha Walpole. Well, someone has done a very good job of this, and they've actually marked it on, is it Google Maps? And they've marked it on Google Maps as a historical spot. There you go, you can actually go there and see where Harry's virginity was lost. What, you might want to? There'd be people doing pilgrimages and reenacting it, won't they? Meanwhile, we've got Phil Collins news. Do you remember his missus? Yeah. Do you remember, was it Oriane? Do you remember her? She gave him a right old time of it. Well, anyway, that story continues. Her ex-husband, well, he's still her husband, isn't he? Have they got divorced? No, they're estranged. I thought they might have been filing for divorce. Yeah, male escort Thomas Bates, Master Bates to his friends, has filed a motion in their bitter divorce battle demanding that Oriane is incarcerated for nearly 6 months for contempt of court. Why? Because she didn't pay lease payments on his £340,000 James Bond Aston Martin car. Instead, she jetted off to Europe to get away from him, I'd imagine. So there you go. Yeah, this was at Broward County Court in Fort Lauderdale, in Florida. Got a Florida man story. And here are the unhappy couple together. Yeah, I wouldn't. You don't want to get involved in that, mate. Didn't he learn anything? He just run away. Phil Collins couldn't tame her. And I said, they're all just money grabbers, aren't they? They're all money grabbers. Meanwhile, more quick court news. This is the story of lunch is ready. Victoria Nasrova. She's found guilty by jury on Wednesday. Here she is. Remember? There's the crazy. You can see the crazy. There you go. Well, what did she do? She was found guilty because she tried to kill a lookalike and steal her identity by feeding her poisoned cheesecake. Apparently, the two women resemble each other, dark hair, similar skin tones, and Nasrova hoped to impersonate Tzvik after killing her, the district attorney said. She was convicted of charges including attempted murder, assault and unlawful imprisonment. She faces up to 25 years in prison when she's sentenced on March the 21st. Don't eat the cheesecake. Don't eat the cheesecake. But from one end to eating another, that segue was amazing. You did it so well. Perry Cap, she went on a podcast. This One Friend. She revealed that she was in a relationship with Zac Efron. I've always enjoyed the work of Zac Efron. We sold millions and millions of High School Musical stickers when we had the newsagents, but I've always think he's a pretty good comedy actor as well. But she was on a podcast, right, and she revealed that he was an enthusiastic giver of oral sex. Yeah, he loved to frolic in the lady garden. Yes. Yeah. And yeah. So yeah. And apparently Zac Efron was. He actually texted the person who was hosting the podcast and said, "Thanks for having my back, bro." So yeah. And now they're saying he should rename himself as Zac Muffron. It takes all sorts, doesn't it? And what else have we got? We've got to end on an animal story. We're going to Tasmania. Lauren MacArthur. She was she was in her garden. And she she noticed something weird on her decking. A strange creature. This was at her Tasmanian home, and she didn't know what it was. And she went on Facebook, right? And yeah, it was a seahorse. Apparently, a bird who'd been fishing in the nearby Derwent River had dropped it overhead, and it had landed on her decking. So yeah, but she said it was the first time she'd seen something outside of an aquarium. But she lives 50 metres from the Derwent River. But it was, she just, she's never, it was obviously some bird's breakfast. So there we go. That was it. I've got to toodle off for lunch now. I've got 12 people in. It's almost a party. Scott's in. He says good morning. Lone Wolf says this story belongs in a movie. So bizarre indeed. Thomas is in. He says hi. Scott May says, sea chicken indeed, chicken of the sea. Robert's in, he says, hello. Living on Mars, you'd freeze and die of radiation before health issues kicked in. Well, I don't want to go to Mars, do we? Thomas says, Roger Waters is at your door, indeed. Lone says, I had to look at the art collective that made those boots. They have some really crazy stuff in their store. You can't get them off though. At least you don't have to lace them up though. That's a good thing. Payne says, those are the boots version of the red shoes, but in their case they can't start dancing. You just stand there, flopping around. Thomas says, if a married couple can't fight in front of each other, they should be married. Indeed. Thomas says, I would do a donation, but it's erroring at the moment. Oh dear. Oh dear, that doesn't sound good. Try again. Keep pressing the button. Just keep pressing the button. I don't mind if you make multiple payments. Andrew's in, he says hello. Hello to you too, Andrew. Thomas says, hi to everyone else in the chat. Indeed. And Andrew says, rip to the legendary Burt Bacharach. Indeed. Poet says, hello and have a great weekend. Same back at you. And Bondi says, not only is Roger at your door, as you mentioned, but he has a test pressing of his re-recording of Ummagumma. God, I wouldn't put it past him. That would be alarming. Anyway, thank you for watching. That was Friday and coffee time. Have a good weekend, and we'll do this all again, hopefully, the next time. Killing the channel, one video at a time. That was the news. You got to drink it up.